Happy Tuesday. Welcome. It's your girl Adina with the Liberated Pussy podcast. I am here. We've been doing this. This is series number 8 in our series. And we have a wonderful conversation with my sister, Monique Ruffin, also known as the Moon Mama. Let me get her in here so we can get this party started. Monique, where you at? There you are. Hello, hello. How you doing? You see, I'm feeling fine. I got my crown on. I'm wearing my crown. I crown myself. So come on in here, Monique, and let's get it started. Okay, I see. She's coming. She's coming. How y'all doing? Oh, there you are. Hey, Mo. Okay. I love this. Okay. She should be coming in any moment. Okay. So while we wait for Monique to come in, let's talk to me, everyone. Tell me how you doing, what you thinking. We've been doing Liberated Pussy. We've done 7 conversations. This is our 8th conversation. We want to talk about full moon goddess time. And you may be asking, what is that? What is that? We're going live with Monique. Here she is. Come on, there you are. Hello, guys.
Hi,
It was so good to see you. I got to see Monique about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. I was in LA and we got to spend some time together at the Pacific Ocean. So good to be in your company, sis.
always. And are you wearing red right now? Is that
You
red
know
or
I
orange?
am. I see your red. That's how we do.
Yes, it was so incredible to be together
Hmm.
because it feels like we're always together. Um, and I think that was the thing that was interesting about it is that I was like, oh, this is natural for us. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it just felt like, oh yeah, of course. Like
Hmm.
so I love technology and how we get to be together even when we're not together, because when we were
Yeah.
together it was like, oh, this is just normal, this is just what we
Right,
do.
right. But I
Yeah,
hadn't actually hugged your neck since we were in Egypt, and that was in 2021. So time is
wow,
moving on.
that
So
is,
we got to do better in getting together physically. And I know we have some things lined up for that.
yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
So I'm excited to be here today for our conversation and for creating this goddess gathering experience.
Hmm.
It feels
I was
so,
just, go
go
ahead,
ahead.
go ahead.
Just how appropriate it feels. It's very interesting to be a woman who has lived and experienced life and herself, and to be with other women who have lived and experienced life and ourselves, so that
Hmm.
we can begin to really reframe these experiences and these um, ideas to have them be suited to us and not suited to everyone else's ideas and needs. It's like womanhood is a profound thing. It
Hmm.
really is, right?
Yes, yes, it's a blessing. I remember when I was a little girl and I was in a church pageant. And pageants are a whole nother thing. It's hilarious. But we sang a song called I Enjoy Being a Girl. And at that time, I was like, that's a weird song. Like, but I get it. I get it. But we sang
Yeah,
it, I
yeah,
enjoy being a girl. And I haven't ever heard that song anyplace else other than in that pageant. But I love the idea of celebrating femininity, celebrating womanhood, celebrating full goddess moon time, celebrating the whole journey
yeah.
of being the wombed one. Being the
Yes.
wombed one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's really something because in my own experience, I feel like the world creates narratives that create shame and fear
Hmm.
around who we are naturally. And today we're going to be talking about our moon time and what they
Hmm.
call menstruation and menopause, right? Like how all of that stuff has gotten laced with this idea of men. you know, menstruation and menopause. But as I experience those things from my own personal from my own personal experience and perspective, I realize that it has nothing to do with men at all. It has nothing to do with men. And, huh?
Just clear my throat. Excuse me.
Yes, and how what a misrepresentation that the language is of what we're actually experiencing. And so because the language misrepresents what we're actually up to, our experiences get contaminated with beliefs, ways of being, practices, ideas that really make these experiences very toxic, because we've given sort of men the permission to determine, like,
Just
I know
story. It's the
right.
story, like we talk about. It's a story that doesn't end with us winning.
That's right. That's
And if we're
right.
not winning, the story's misaligned.
And
It's not the right story.
it really is. And it's so interesting because, like, I remember when I was growing up, and I was raised Christian, and how there was this narrative that women were dirty when they were on their periods. And so now, and it was like, you have to put her away. She has to go be away. But that narration was a man's perspective.
It's ridiculous. If you literally think about it, the blood is the blood that's in your veins. The blood of your mother is the blood that's in your vein that created you.
Yeah.
So how could that be dirty? It just doesn't make any sense to even, like, if you think about it with even the minimal part of your logical mind, it doesn't make sense. So
Yes.
we're throwing all of that out. We're celebrating the blood,
right,
and in these same Christian
they
churches,
celebrate the blood anyway in Christian church with the blood of Jesus. They literally say that the woman is dirty because of her blood, but then this man hanging on a cross and dying and bleeding,
drink his blood.
That's a sacrament, and you should drink it.
It makes no sense. It's really the blood of Mary. It's the blood of Mary that you're celebrating.
That's right.
Let's put it back in perspective.
So we're here to really begin to have conversations that are anchored in a new perspective of truth, and the opportunity for us to define ourselves under our own terminology, get that we have to use language that works for us, so that we're not at odds with ourselves. And this is the opportunity to do that, which is so powerful, because as women, we are the portal that connects to the invisible realm. We are the portal that connects to the God realm. And every person is born because of the blood. So with Jesus, it's like you take the blood, that they took that story and said, if you take the blood of Jesus, then you're born again. Isn't that something?
It is something. It's something.
But really, we bleed without dying. We bleed and we bleed for days, and we don't die. And we are born again each month. Women are born again each month anew, because we have access to the technology that allows us to die and rise again.
We make more. That's what we do. We make more.
That's right. That's right. So, tell me, do you remember when you first started your moon time?
I do. It was the month before I turned 13. So I was 12, like when you're a kid, you'd be like, I was 12 and a half, but really it was really about 30 days before I turned 13. And I was with my grandmother at one of her good friends' houses. And when I noticed that I was bleeding, it's, even though, you in school, you have those things where they tell you about puberty and all that kind of stuff. And so you're expecting it. Do you remember that book, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret?
I do.
And they were, they were trying to get their breasts. Is it? I bet that's an interesting movie. But so, so the breasts kind of come first, or the little buds come first, and then the cycle. So So, you're looking for it, but then it's like that moment when it comes, it's like, oh, it's like a surprise, like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I was with my grandmother's friend's daughter,
Mhm.
so we call each other cousins. And she freaked out. Like I'm telling her, I go in the bathroom and I come out, I tell her, she starts freaking out. And I'm like, can you, because she hadn't started hers yet. I'm like, can you please stop? Like, because that just added to the drama. She's freaking out and she starts calling people. Like, she's bleeding, and it won't stop. I was like, oh my God. Now I'm embarrassed. I'm like, can you? And I don't even know who she's calling. And these weren't cell phones. These were like,
Right.
the rotary sound phones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop. Okay. So my grandmom and her friend come home. My grandmom takes me in the bathroom. And what I remember from her and her talk to me, she was almost mad, but she wasn't mad. It was
Mhm.
just like she was stern as she's washing, and her whole message to me was don't be nasty. Like don't, as she's washing stuff, and just don't be nasty. And I'm like how am I nasty now? Like
Mhm.
how, like yesterday I was fine, but today it's nasty. Like what
Right.
is the deal? Her whole conversation was, showing me how to wash and showing me how to do this, but what I internalized from her manner and the way was nasty.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, that's deep. Like, what's the difference from yesterday and today? But she was coming from a hygiene perspective,
Mhm.
and I appreciate that,
Mhm.
I also know the perspective that she came from in terms of how it was seen when, she probably started her cycle. She had two daughters when they started their cycle. And
Yeah.
so here I am at almost 13 and just subject to, her fixing of me,
Yeah.
her fixing
Yeah.
of me. But I didn't feel celebrated per se. It
Yeah.
was more so the message I got was don't be nasty. And I'm like, wow, okay. I remember my mom calling me later that night and saying, well, I heard, that you're a woman now. And I'm like, I am? Yeah, like, okay, Mima said don't be nasty. Mom said I'm a woman. Like, okay. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that was kind of the
But no
extent of my
more
experience.
information was given about what that means about womanhood. I remember for me it was just like don't have sex. That was it.
Okay.
You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
know that happened in that moment. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying that there was this idea like now you are able to get pregnant.
Mm.
So even if I wasn't even thinking about sex, right? There
Mm-hmm.
was this don't get sex, don't have sex because you
Okay.
can get pregnant. Um, so how were you taught anything about like,
Well, school taught, and we had talks about where did I come from and that kind of thing, but in
mhm,
my 12-year-old mind I didn't necessarily connect it at that point, and maybe that nasty conversation was connected to sex in some kind of way.
mhm,
You know what I mean? Like the whole
mhm,
nasty piece was like all that, down there and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, wow, even though I didn't feel that way, yeah, I didn't feel nasty
yeah,
or any of that, but it just was, kind of, I felt like a spectator just kind of watching it, like, oh.
mhm,
So
mhm,
so it wasn't connected immediately for me. That's what that meant. Like even when my mom said, you're a woman now, I didn't get that that's what that meant. I didn't
yeah,
get it yet. I
yeah,
love how women are having period parties for their daughters now.
yeah,
I love how they're celebrating the first menses, and it's not, I just love the way that I see some women doing it now. I love it.
yes, yes. It totally does make a difference because
Mm-hmm.
it's empowering.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's true. It's true that it's a time to celebrate your power coming online. And one of the things that I do recall at that time was it was like men started responding to me different. But now I understand, or boys started responding differently, that, and men too, because that was, but that it was a hormonal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you start to send out a
Yeah,
hormone
your
that's
pheromones are different.
that's
Mm-hmm.
right. That's right. And so it it really shows how animalistic we are. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that just in biology, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we are the portals of procreation. And so because we are the portals of procreation, if we don't understand how the people and the reality around us is then responding to that energy that's coming from us, then we don't really fully have our power. Like
Right.
today, I don't have daughters, but today, if I had daughters, I would really talk to them about their relationship to their body,
Mm-hmm.
their relationship to this creative power, this ability to connect to the divine within you, and understanding that the moon, you know, which is the 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 moon is not a planet, it's a satellite, but we don't have to go into that now. The moon is regulating the reproductive system. So many of us ovulate with the full moon or the new moon and bleed with the full moon or the new moon. And that is your connection to the greater reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I would teach my daughter that, like, that you're connected to something, like you're plugged in now
Mm-hmm.
to this reproductive power, which
Yes.
will allow you to, one of the things it allows you to do is to bring life. That's just one of
Mm-hmm.
the things it
Just
allows you
one.
to do. You can now get pregnant and you can bring another human being into this existence. That is a powerful thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you also can recreate yourself. You can use your energy for your creative ideas, your creative projects, your creative expression, because now your reproductive power is creating. It's
Mm-hmm.
sending a signal to the
Yes.
universe saying, this is what I desire.
Yes. It's a rites of passage. Truly, it's a beautiful rites of passage.
It really
Um,
is.
I also do not have daughters. I have 3 sons. I have goddaughters and,
Mm-hmm.
girls that I've been godmother and aunties to. I have nieces. I love the ability to share with them different ways to, if they're open, because everyone's
Mm-hmm.
not open, and you have to be mindful
Mm-hmm.
of what messages their mothers have given them as well.
Yeah.
But to connect it to the moon, like you said, I didn't get, even though people said moon and things like that in 28 days, I really didn't get it about how I was really connected to the moon until I was already in my 40s. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get it and feel it. I was connected and that kind of thing, but I was oblivious in my connection, if that makes sense. I was just kind
Yeah.
of bopping along. So I would have loved to have it earlier, but hey, everything is perfect. I had the
Yes.
experience I had so that I can be where I am now. But what we're talking about today is the advantages of full moon time and really renaming these experiences, like you said. So it's connected to the moon. So it's not ministration, it's moonistration.
It
Okay? It's
really is. Yeah.
moonistration. And if
Yeah.
we call it that, then the little girls who are coming on at 12 and 13, right off the bat, moon. I'm connected, and you can start singing and syncing soon rather than just being on autopilot like I
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
singing and syncing and utilizing your power here in this dimension now. Moonistration,
Yes.
number one. Number
Yes.
two, that you hear people talk about quote unquote menopause and the horrors of it when you're little. It's like, oh God, what happens? Life stops? It's like, no, like what I know now is like,
Yes.
no, it don't.
Yes.
I'm still
Yes.
cycling now, although I'm at the beginning of this full moon goddess time, and I notice the changes and things like that. But I also notice my power coming up. I see
Yes.
my expand. I feel it, and it
Yes.
is awe-inspiring. It's exciting.
Yes.
It's so much fun.
I,
So.
I I love that. And one of the
Mhm,
things I think is really interesting is that how it was named menopause.
mhm,
But as women who are in that time of our
mhm,
lives, we know that it's actually not menopause, right? We
mhm.
know that our sexual desire actually
It
increases,
does. Yeah.
right?
Like,
So,
where's the pause part? Like, the men, old pause. Where's the pause? Like, who name? We can look at the origins of that name, but
yeah,
it's ridiculous. Throw it out. Throw
right,
it out. Throw it out. No
right.
pause. Full steam ahead.
But the thing that I'm saying is that we have been conditioned to believe that your sexual desire goes away,
No.
and it does not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a
It's not
pause.
a
It literally is
pause.
an
It
increase.
is.
It is an
It's an up level.
increase. Right. It is an increase of your sexual desire, your sexual expression, your sexual creative power. It is an increase of that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because your body is no longer preparing for
Mm-hmm.
pregnancy every month. So that power comes for you to use as you desire. And what happens is, in our world, because we have all this false language around it,
Mm-hmm.
and we are all the women are at, I'm hot flashing.
Mm-hmm.
No, your energy is coming back to you. Your power is coming back to you. What is it that you want to do?
So the new for hot flash,
Yeah.
power surge.
Yes.
When that heat comes up, you got a power surge, sister, and you could utilize that heat. And once you get into alignment with all these things that we're talking about your
Right.
health, your mind, your body, your soul, and use that energy directed to where you want it to go. Power
That's right.
surges, power
That's right.
surges.
That's right. So, what about the magic that comes from having this kind of power? Because that's the thing that I feel like gets taken away from little girls, like really understanding our magical connection to nature, to the moon, to the sun, to the animals, and our minds get co-opted, and all of a sudden the only way that we're told that we can really express ourselves or express our full energy is with men. And that is completely false. And as we move into this experience that is called now our moon pause time, right?
No,
Like,
gotta get it. Full moon goddess.
full moon,
Full moon goddesses.
goddess,
Goddess.
goddess,
Full moon goddess. Y'all
full
got it?
moon
Full moon
goddess.
goddess.
Yes, where the light is full. And it's, I don't want to get into all this now, and we'll talk about this stuff in the goddess gathering, but how each moon phase really does impact our ability to reproduce ourselves, not as children, not as giving birth to children, but as giving birth to your desires. And when we learn to use this time for ourselves,
Your womb
for,
manifestations,
that's
your
right,
creations, the things
that's
you want
right,
to bring into life, you make more. It doesn't have to
that's
be
right.
just babies.
And when we are conscious and we practice the rituals and we learn to focus our mind on what we really are up to, so many of us are divided by work and children, and at this age sometimes grandchildren and spouses and health, right? That we are not really cultivating what we truly desire, what we really, really want, right? And so, one of the things that I do every day, I sit down and I feel into my system. What is it that, what is it that really wants to be expressed through me? What do I truly desire? And as we are willing to cultivate who we are, separate and apart from anybody else, separate and apart from your spouse, separate and apart from your children, separate and apart from your grandchildren, your job, all of that, and into your own body, then you get to really use your imagination as a magical wand. It really is. Like share, would you be willing to share like how you manifest, one of the ways you manifest food?
I told Monique last night. So we do a meditation. Okay, let me say this.
Yes.
Understand that we love men.
Yes.
Understand that we love women. It's not about one above the other or anything like that. It's really about being in harmony and you centered in your universe.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
Yes.
And what happens to little girls when you talked about our magic really being put on the shelf when we're little, it really is. It's just put on the shelf because we're just seen kind of as a tool for everyone else to use. But when you take yourself off the shelf and you put yourself in the center of your own universe and then are in harmony with your divine masculine and your inner divine feminine, then the magic is just palpable. The magic is just totally right here for our advantage.
Yeah.
So that part. So Monique and I do this work, and we do this work in Goddess Gathering. We meet every Thursday. But what she's talking about right now is I had an experience yesterday where I had just got finished working and I was tired and I was hungry and I didn't want to cook and I didn't want to go anywhere. And all I did was think, I'm hungry right now. What do I want to do? I picked up my phone to order something, and then there was a knock at my door. And one of my family members brought me some food. I didn't ask. I didn't say, hey, da-da-da, da-da-da. I didn't say anything. I said it inside. I was in
Yes.
harmony energetically.
Yes.
And I was presented with my desire. And I was like, wow, it was the manifestation, the womb manifestations can really speed up for you when you start to get your energy in alignment. And that means your health, that means your thoughts, that means your words. It means all of that.
Yes.
And then when you see it, you prove to yourself that it really is palpable. It really is real.
Yes.
So I ate in such delight. Like it was like eating like magical, just whatever you imagine, magical, whatever to be. It didn't matter what it was because I didn't
Yeah.
have to get up. I didn't have to cook. I didn't have to move. All I did was think.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, Divine Mother, Divine Father, thank you. It's like, this is my daughter. Here you go.
Yeah. Yes, and that's the out picturing of our internal peace and harmony with our gifts and what we're capable of. But many of us are conditioned to worry and to, oh my God, what is this? And one of the things that I'm often saying about women now also is like there's this epidemic of women not being able to get pregnant. And that is because we are running too hot. We are so in our heads, and that mental energy burns your water in your body. And water is the conduit for life. So when you're overthinking and worrying and trying to figure it out and being in your own masculine energy, because we have masculine and feminine, but when we are too much in our masculine and not willing to cultivate the magnet, because feminine energy is a magnet. It pulls in, right? So all you had to do was think, I'm hungry. I think I need money, and money will show up. I think I want to talk to this person, and they'll text me.
Yes.
I think, right. I think I need to have this experience and that experience. Like, that is how it works. But you've got to take responsibility for that old mindset that has you thinking you got to grind and figure it out, and you hustle and get the bag. That's the opposite of the feminine.
Yes. So it's being mindful of your vibration.
Yeah.
Being mindful of
Yes.
your energy, mindful of your thoughts. So there is work to do. It's not just, oh, I'm just going to sit and chill. No, it's not that. But it's knowing what it actually is. And that's what we do in Goddess Technology. The world is on a different vibration right now, which is not of what we are creating right now. We are deciding what we're wanting to create. And it's helpful when you're in a gathering of women doing the same thing. It helps you do it faster to get there sooner. And we can, and it doesn't matter. People say, well, most people this, most people, it doesn't matter what most people are doing. Those who are awake are more powerful than millions who are asleep. If it's 5, 10, 20, 30 of us, or however many of us who decide to be on this vibration, we can shift all those sleeping people. And when they do wake up, they'll see our light and they'll come on over. All you got to do is you. That's all you got to do is you.
That's right. And that is the journey of undoing the mindset that thinks that you have to control people, that you need to control people externally.
Nope.
You don't. You need to control yourself and the frequency that you are holding, and you will naturally magnetize what you desire to you. And sometimes that means you might need to go take some actions, because like I said, we do have masculine energy. But once you really understand it, you'll need to take as little actions as possible. Like, it's effortlessness creating, but there is a way to get there. And with Goddess Gathering, one of the things that I've seen being with women all these years, like working with women all these years as a coach and in friendships and all of that sort of stuff, is that women learn from one another. Like, we thrive together better than we do alone. We do need to have our alone time so that we're not collapsing into one another, so that we hold our individual frequencies and understand what your individual tone is. Like, that's important, but it's also once you understand your individual tone, and if you don't understand your individual tone, it's important for you to be with women who are vibrating at the frequency of the goddess so that you see what it looks like. Because if you don't see what it looks like, you won't be able to duplicate it.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to find a radio station and it's all staticky.
Right.
You know,
Right.
where if we're sending a signal and you're next to that signal, you can get right in a tune. Or like if you're singing in a choir and somebody's singing off key, if you get with folks who are singing on key, it can bring you on key. It's like that. Get in the choir,
right.
y'all.
That's right. And it's a profound experience to have, watching us all wake up. It's like a domino effect, you know, like one of us goes down and then everybody does. And I remember when I first decided that I was no longer going to have conversations about men with my girlfriends, where, you know, in a long time ago when we used to call each other, but girl, can you believe he did this and he did that and he did that? You know, like when I decided that that was not going to be my frequency any longer, I watched a lot of my friendships change because that was the pattern that was in place. To be at odds with what I know now, we were at odds with our creations.
Oh, shame.
Because women have the subconscious power. Yeah. So what we think about somebody is what they have to show up as. Yeah. Just like we make babies, we make people in our world out of our own image in our mind. You're only always experiencing a reflection of yourself. It's just the way.
She's speaking to your spirit, y'all. She's speaking to your spirit.
And the more we understand how it works, right? It's like we've not been taught how it works. We've been taught this narrative of separation, but everything is connected through the subconscious realms, which are invisible. The power,
but very real. But very real.
But more real than the physical. More real than the physical, because women exist in the spiritual realm. Our physical bodies are here, but our energy is in the subconscious and the spiritual realm. So when I started to realize, oh, I'm sitting on the phone talking to somebody about what he did, and I'm creating that. He can't be different if I continue to hold him in that frequency. So I had to do the work to understand why I was in that conversation. What was that about? It took me all the way back to my father. Then I had to heal that. I had to heal my belief system of men. I had to change the way I subconsciously believed about men. Somebody here says decolonizing the psyche. That's what I had to do. I had to decolonize my psyche. I love that person. Thank you, decolonizing the psyche.
So if we are the divine feminine, the masculine is the divine masculine. That goes together. Yeah. It goes together.
Yes.
So but it
goes together inside of us first.
Absolutely. That's where you create it.
That's right.
And then you will create it outside. It's the only way it works. It's the only way. And if you're not seeing it, then we look to our creations. And that's what we do in Goddess Gathering. Yeah. We do the work to decolonialize our psyches that we can create this here, right now.
That's right.
That's what we do.
So that the universe is always delivering to you from your pure desire, from your innocence, from your connection to the reality and the invisible realm. And you willed it. You willed it. You bend it into your desire. And it has nothing to do with anybody else. You just get committed to what it is you desire. And you stay the path that way. And when things show up in your consciousness that aren't aligned to it, it's like then you have to do the work around that.
Get clearer.
And then you come back to that. That's right. That's right.
It's clay. It's clay that we can mold. You know, it's moldable.
Right. That's right. That's right. And so when are we having our first meeting, Adina?
Thursday, and it's our it's our second Goddess Gathering meeting. Yeah. We've done our initial opening into Goddess Technology, which was the first iteration. This is lifetime work, ladies and gentlemen. Lifetime work. But we are midwifing Yes, midwifing ourselves and our sisters who want to join us in this journey of really understanding how to take your magic off the shelf, step into your full moon goddess time, no matter where you are in the cycle. You could still be a cycling goddess, that's fine, but just understanding that the goal is to get to full moon goddess time. That is the power.
Yeah.
That's when the crown is placed on your head and you're like, hey, you know what it was all for? This is
Yeah.
what it was all for.
Yes.
So Thursday, it's 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
No, no,
Do
no.
the
It's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and 5 o'clock Pacific. I think that's
Is that
I
what it
think
is?
that's,
Is that
yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
We're trying to get all our time straight
Yeah.
across
Because
the country.
we were at 4 o'clock before, remember?
Oh, we
We
were.
were.
Yeah, we were.
Yes,
We were.
right.
So 8 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock your
Yeah.
time. Okay.
Yes.
Goddess gathering. We meet for an hour. We do the rituals in between, and we come back. So we are doing in the next 4 weeks. We're talking about what our relationships have come to teach us. So we're really getting into understanding the magic and the lesson of where we've been thus far. So as we move forward, we become even clearer about our desires, so we can create what we want. We create what we want. Universe is like, here you go, baby.
Here you go.
Here you go.
Here you go. It's really, and it's, I'm just in awe of the magic. I am in awe of the magic. Like, the more I release my old narratives and get really connected, it's so profound to watch things just show up. It's like, God, I had that thought and now here it is, you know? I just thought of this person and they called. I was just feeling this and this happened. Like, it becomes so rapid. And it's like, and let me tell you, it never gets old. It's never gets old. It just doesn't. It's the most rewarding feeling to be like, oh, I was thinking of that and look at what showed up. Okay. It never gets old. And it's the most incredible way to be of service on the planet, to be with other women who are devoted to accessing magic in their systems. And I do want to say that the work is not easy. It's not. It's not big. And the reason it's not easy is because we have to undo a lot of programming. And that's really why we need one another, because when you hear another woman share her story and share her experience, you know, whether it's of a challenging relationship or a health condition or, you know, difficulties in any area of her life, and then you begin to see it transform, that shit is wild. It's like, God, this stuff, like we didn't have to go kill nobody. We didn't have to go cuss nobody out. And we didn't have to go get cousins and them to do. All we had to do was work it out inside of ourselves. And then the external world bends to that frequency.
It's malleable. One thing that you say that I love is you talk about how the universe uses everything, and that we need that negative and positive charge. If you went through life and everything was just lovely all the time, you wouldn't appreciate it. Think of how humans are. We'd just be like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. You need the balance of it to even value your forward motion. So we're going to utilize the quote unquote negative experiences, and it doesn't matter what it is. People have come from hard things, some sexual, indiscretions, or, rape, or, abandonment. All of those hard things, we're reconciling those, healing those, and still moving forward to this, the universe giving you what you want.
That's right.
What you desire.
That's
so
right.
All of it, you're not broken. It doesn't matter where you've been. It just matters where you're going, and just starting right where you are. You don't have to do anything to get ready. Come as you are. Come as you are to this circle of love with your sisters, and let's create what you desire. Monique, 2 advantages from you of full moon goddess time. Tell them 2 advantages from your perspective.
So 2 advantages are that, wow, one of the most profound ones is that I'm in control of my desires. I used to be really addicted to dick, is what I would say. Like, because the mindset was like, you have to have a man in order to be happy. So I almost couldn't be happy without the attention of a man, or, some sort of internal thing that I had going on with men. But now that I understand it, I'm able to know, oh, that's just energy. And now I can use that any way that I want to. I can direct that to start a business. I can direct that to pray for, somebody's healing and actually watch them be healed. I can use that to actually, help my child, right? So I have more choices in how I use my energy now. I'm not like a slave to old patterns. So that's one thing. And something that's really simple is that I don't need to pay for sanitary napkins anymore. That was one of the things that I was like, I've been paying for these things for years, right? I started using a moon cup at the end, but it was a real interesting thing, like how um, how industries are birthed out of our desires, and we are subject to that. It's like it's not sacred because there's all these costs associated with it. Birth control pills, and there's all this stuff that's like right. But now I don't have any of that going on, and so I get to use my energy and my power in the ways that works for me, and I get to use my money.
Ashe. Ashe.
Yeah.
Thank
How
you for
about you?
sharing that. Oh, for me too. I love that you shared that very practical one. I luckily learned about the moon cup in my 30s and I loved it. So I never really bought another pad or any of that kind of stuff. Like one moon cup lasts literally 15 years.
Yeah.
I bought another one just because I felt like I should have two. Put one in the car. But there are whole industries that are set up, and those things aren't necessarily the safest. If people are using the commercial ones with all the toxins and things like that, at least get the organic ones. But that's a sustainable way to deal with it. So for me, advantages are my energy and my time for this time in my life are mine. I've figured out a way to internalize that energy back on me in a way, and it's not selfish from the standpoint that I don't care and take care of others. I do. It's just I was to the side. I was on the shelf while I was caring for others. But now I'm off the shelf. I'm me-centered. I can still care for others, but I have a say. I get to say my authentic yes, or wherever it is, I get to feel it. So I'm in direct access with my power and my alignment, and that feels so good.
Girl, doesn't that feel good? It feels so good. I mean, like, one of the things that I love to do is like pray for people that I love without telling them and watch their lives change. Watch their lives change. It's like, wow. And like I said, the energy it's private, it's silent, it's invisible. So,
that's the
I don't need
Right. I don't saying, I did that for you. I did that. She just does
I don't need credit because I want the world to be better. So I want people to be happy. And so I'm going to use my power, not just for myself, but to make sure that other people are happy. And that has been so much fun. Like watching my clients' lives come into a new way, and watching my child, and it's like, wow, look at how that works. One of the things that's so interesting, my son, every morning I give him a dropper filled of liquid gold, because liquid gold helps your brain connections connect, right? So I give it to him before he goes to school, and then also a dropper of silver. Sorry. Because silver is a natural antibiotic, right? Silver keeps you healthy. And every day he would be like, I don't want to take it. I don't want to take it. I don't want to take it. And then every time he would take it, I'd be like, this is for your brain. This is going to help your brain develop and help you be smart and intelligent. And this is for your body to be healthy. And then out of the blue, as I was just praying for his happiness, one day he was like, I forgot. And he was like, where's my gold?
Silver. I need my gold and silver.
Right. And I transformed it without fussing with him, without just really holding the frequency of his well-being. And now he is invested in it as I am.
That's beautiful.
And so this is how we get to transform our realities. One of the ways. Yes.
This is how we do it. That's beautiful. So full moon goddesses and goddesses, wherever you are in the cycle, please do join us in Goddess Gathering. The link is in my bio. The link is in Monique's bio. We
Yeah.
meet weekly. This is a sacred circle of sisters who are doing the work, doing the rituals, healing ourselves and healing our planet, starting with ourselves, our family, and then going out in concentric circles. This is how
That's
you
right.
do it. You do it in community. You do it
That's
in
right.
community.
And
Goddesses
the
are gathering.
investment, what's the investment?
The investment is $77 a month,
Yeah.
$77 a month, and that's ongoing support, that's weekly meetings, that's the rituals, and then access to the other activities we do at a discount. So there is an
Yeah.
investment, a monetary investment, but then we
Yeah.
want your time. We want your energy
Right.
to be focused so that you have it to direct at your will, no longer as a pawn in other people's
That's
games. This is
right.
your life.
That's
You get
right.
to direct this, and
That's right.
you get to create it. So come get the steps on how to do that in
Yeah.
Goddess Gathering.
I
That's what we're doing.
say.
Ashe, ashe,
Thank you so
ashe.
much. I look forward to seeing you ladies there, and we're just really grateful that we get to learn how to use our power in ways that actually serves us.
Yes.
That doesn't, like, we get to be included in our goodness.
Mm-hmm.
We are the priority, and when we
Yes.
are happy, everyone else will be happy.
Yes. It's all good.
If you're not expecting somebody else to come and make you happy, I remember I used to be in my mindset, I'm gonna do this and then hopefully they'll do that. I don't do that shit no more because I know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so thank you, Adina, for having me here.
Oh, you're
Um,
welcome. I love
I
you.
love you too, sister. All
All
right,
right.
peace and blessings, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.